Hey, Juju6 checking in. Today I wanted to talk about PC gaming and my biggest problems with it. And if you're a console person, then you'll probably love this commentary, because if you're going to a PC hate video, then you can get some comments off of this. So first things first, let's start out with the biggest complaint, and that's the three major DRMs. Uplay, Steam, and Origin. Everybody loves Steam. That's pretty obvious. You don't hear anything bad or too bad about Steam. Their help and support is great. Deals are great. They don't charge you tax. It's great. You can Steam share with friends. Fantastic. 10 out of 10. Uplay, on the other hand, I like Uplay. I don't know why people don't. It's just that when games, big games that people are highly anticipating, come out and they crash Uplay server, then it pisses off people. I like the Uplay overlay better than the Steam overlay, but that's just me, and I have the Windows 8 version, so it looks real nice. And on top of that, it's just, I think Uplay just looks better. I like the color scheme too, the art style of the white and blue versus the black and white. And then Origin, and yeah, that's the white and blue and black and white shit, that's all preference. And Origin, it works sometimes, but when there's problems, then, well, yeah, that's EA for you. Now, another thing is we get shitty ports. Take Grand Theft Auto 4, perfect example. The game was so much better on console, it was scary. Take fucking games on tip. Dark Souls. Dark Souls PC port was legitimate trash. It took modders who loved the game to go out and fix it for their platform, for PC. And you saw how amazing it looked. It was running 1080p, 60 frames. And 60 frames, 1080p, I can't stress that enough. It really needs to be a norm in this gaming community. So 1080p, 60 frames, we have shitty ports, so PC doesn't always get the best of the best games, but usually if it's a big AAA title, then the PC port won't be too bad. Another thing is when you're left out of console exclusives. So when you have games that you're hoping for, like Kingdom Hearts 3, Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy 15, maybe the next Tomb Raider, which might be a timed exclusive. Anyways, props to Microsoft for copping that, even though I'm really surprised, because it was at 30 frames at 720p for the definitive edition, and it sold much more on Sony. So I'm just a little surprised by that. I don't know how much money Microsoft gave them, but you know, it was probably a sweet deal that Square Enix probably couldn't turn down. So we're left out of console exclusives, or they'll come out at a later date, and the fact that we're not able to play with the console audience and experience it with our friends who are on console at the same time is kind of a slap in the face. Another thing is, in the long run, PCs cost more. Now, PC gamers are always going to tell you, hey, PCs aren't that expensive. If you spend $500, you can easily outperform the next-gen console. But as times go on, games become more demanding, and you're going to have to invest another $250 into new graphics card, another $150. Your motherboard goes out, you're going to have to get a new motherboard, and that's pretty much rebuilding your entire PC. If that happens, you might be able to blow out your power supply, and then if you overclock your CPU or overclock your GPU, there's so much stuff that can go wrong and that you have to be careful with while monitoring your PC. And just also heat that's going on in your tower, you have to be really careful about that. It's just a lot to kind of worry about, and that's why programs like MSI Afterburner, which you guys might have seen in my previous videos that showed how much RAM usage I have, how hot my GPU is running, how hot my CPU is running, and stuff like that. It's good to monitor your hardware in games, make sure you're not pushing it to the edge, because everything is expensive. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't have an access to an infinite amount of money, so I can't just buy new stuff after new stuff after new stuff. So in the long run, from upgrading to hardware, new operating systems, expensive gaming mice and keyboard, all this stuff will be replaced one day, unless you're that guy that holds on to stuff for like 10 or 15 years. But then, I hate to say, but at that point, then the consoles might even be stronger. So next thing that kind of one-ups is cost more of PC in the long run is hardware whores. Now, if you have played any game on PC, you know that people brag about their PC. Oh yeah, I got like an AMD FX 8800. I'm running Titans. I got an i7 47 or 4790K and it's clocked at 6 gigahertz. People brag about their hardware and they look down on you if you have a build that can just get by, like with an i5 or like with an i3 with an AMD FX 6300 or 4300. If you have a 760 or 750 Ti, you're kind of looked down upon, even though these cards 9 times out of 10 can run games. Maybe if the person has a 780 or a or a Titan or like a 780 Ti, and they want to push your games out into 4K at 120 frames a second, which is very expensive, then I mean, more power to them, but they don't understand that at the end of the day, it's just preference. If some people want to play their games at 4K, some people can't afford to play their games at 4K just because of hardware capabilities. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about is the shitty gaming community, and it kind of ones up, not shitty gaming community, but the shitty PC community, and it kind of ones up the hardware whores on PC. Now, for the shitty community on PC, I'm just going to talk about the whole PC master race bullshit. Now, PC, I'm going to say 7 or 8 times out of 10 usually has better ports. Games run better on PC than it does on console, and that's nice and all, but when you blatantly go out and you make a console person feel bad about purchasing a console when they could have bought a PC, I understand where you're coming from, but don't look down on somebody just because they don't have the same experience that you do. I understand that, yes, consoles are only powerful enough to handle some stuff, and PCs, the sky's the limit, because you can just keep on upgrading and upgrading and upgrading. But the reality is, we're all playing the same game, we're all investing all of our times in the same game, we're all supporting the same franchises, we are all the same, and I really don't think that anybody should look down upon anybody else in the gaming community. Whether I'm playing on a PC, my friend's playing on the PS3 or Nintendo 64, we're all gamers at the end of the day, and we all have the right to enjoy our games. And I don't know why that's such a big deal, but hey, I'm just, like I always say, a small YouTuber just here speaking behind a microphone. And the very last thing that I will give to console that I do miss is actually 2 things. 1, the controller, and 2, just the social aspect. Now, socially, PC is not something social. Like, hey, do you have a PC? Most people will say, oh, no, I have a PS4 or like an Xbox One. And when you go out and you talk to people about your specs, you usually look a little bit nerdy, even though you're talking about PCs and stuff like that. So it's just not as common to run into a PC player as it is to consoles, because consoles are so mainstream, they're so cheap. It's easy access, and it has a controller. Now, the good thing about a controller is you can play it from anywhere. You can be laid back on a couch, which you can be on a computer too if you get a wireless receiver. But it's just not the same knowing that you can, I mean, I guess you can do it on a PC, but you're going to need a wireless keyboard and all that stuff. Well, you can do everything on a console with a controller. I think controller is more comfortable, but ergonomically for games like MMOs and first-person shooters, mouse and keyboard is the way to go, just for pure accuracy. You can just amaze yourself by how much better you get. I mean, if you look at some of my earlier videos, I had to do a shit ton of editing just so I can make my gameplay look decent. Now I don't have to do much editing at all. The only editing I do, and it's just when I edit out my deaths and I put them into transitions, is, like I said, when I die, I don't have to work as hard on my video part of my videos. Well, that sounds weird. The video part of my videos. Okay, the gameplay. Because I've gotten better at this overall. I'm amazed by how much more accurate I am, and overall, it's just amazing. So honestly, I don't think PC will ever be a social, even when Steam machines come out, because Steam machines, I don't know who they're supposed to be aimed at. PC gamer, we PC gamers in the PC community, we can build our own stuff. And regarding the whole console players buying Steam machines, I don't know if Valve can disrupt the audience or flow of the Xbox One and the PS4. But anyways, tell me your guys' thoughts about my negatives on PC and if these will ever change. But one last thing about shitty ports is things are being made on DirectX now and on 64-bit processors and chips and all that stuff. So in the long run, it's going to be easier for PC ports to get games, and that might end some shitty PC ports. But at the end of the day, you're always going to have that lazy company that looks down on the PC audience, even though PC has shown time and time again that it has outsold the console audience. But anyways, tell me your guys' thoughts about PC, if you're scared of PC, if you can't quote-unquote afford a PC, because yes, you can build a good budget PC that can just get by and play all the games you want. And overall, tell me your thoughts about PC, the community, and just everything, because I really want to know what everybody has to think about that. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. G6 checking out. Be sure to follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and pretty much all the links in below, and be sure to leave a comment and like. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.